it's all going to zero against Bitcoin.
It's going up forevermore.
You're against Bitcoin, you're against freedom.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Simply Bitcoin, the #1 live Bitcoin show on YouTube, Twitter, and Rumble. We are on Twitch, but we only get one person that hangs out with us on Twitch, so whatever. Anyways, we cover breaking news, culture, and memetic warfare. I'm Opti. I'm hosting today, and I will be your guide through the separation of money and state. And as you can see from the title, we got some interesting news coming out of Argentina. And I think it's very fitting considering we've got a lot of talk about how bad Bitcoin mining is. We've been in the press recently about how bad Bitcoin mining is. It wastes electricity. We're going to boil the oceans. You know, Bitcoin's going to take up all the world's energy. And it's simply not true. I think if you've watched the show for a while, you know this is simply not true. Bitcoin is good for the environment. It finds stranded energy. It minimizes carbon emissions. And it strengthens electrical infrastructure, which few people really like to talk about, but that's what we do here. We like to counter their narratives, call them on their BS. And as we know here, as if you're a local, an OG watching Simply Bitcoin, you know, Bitcoin miners are incentivized to source undiscovered energy, stranded energy, and of course, cheap energy, and energy that would just literally be wasted going into the environment. And we have a news story today about this happening in Argentina with a headline of GDA partners with YPF Luz to launch a Bitcoin mining center in Argentina powered with repurposed flared gas. And the interesting part about this is YPF Luz is a majority state-owned energy company in Argentina. It's actually might be the largest state-owned energy company in Argentina. So in this case, it looks like the state of Argentina is seeing the writing on the wall. Bitcoin mining is good, not only for the environment, but for their pocketbook. It is profitable. Maybe they want to get into Bitcoin, and we'll see them most likely expand further into Bitcoin mining at large. And we're kind of seeing at the same vein that Argentina, for all its faults, is looking like a nice place for Bitcoin businesses to move in there and utilize the country. So don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to the fudsters. Don't listen to the green pieces of the world telling you Bitcoin is bad because of its energy usage. They're simply wrong at best or intentionally lying at worst. But we know they don't care about the facts. We know they only care about their narrative. They only want to scare people away from Bitcoin mining and Bitcoin in general. So when you really look at the data, Bitcoin mining is actually helping the worlds that are not directly visible to many people, and that's okay. And we know there's a knee-jerk reaction in regards to Bitcoin's energy use. We know there's a narrative against using energy in general. They want to bring us back into the Stone Ages. But as Bitcoiners, we understand energy use is good. Because when you look at the data, you look at the innovation, you even look at the profits, you see a completely different story. Competition in energy is good. This is good for planet Earth. This is good for every single one of us. This is good for the cost of your energy. So hopefully we see more countries follow suit. But in the meantime, we're going to be talking about Argentina. And this also leads to something that I've been saying for a while on the show, that once Bitcoin is tied to the price of energy, when more energy producers realize that they need to price oil and natural gas and coal, et cetera, to Bitcoin, that's when Bitcoin will become and solidify itself as the de facto money of the world. And of course, with that comes number go up. So if Bitcoin can knock the petrodollar as the way to price energy, man, the game theory really starts to play out, and we'll really start to see interesting things happen in the Bitcoin space. And of course, also, this ties into the very, very tiring conversation about proof of work or proof of stake and all this stuff. But this is the importance of proof of work. Work must be done. Energy must be spent to create. This is what hard money means. This is literally a law of physics. The harder it is to produce that money, the better the money is. It's economic law, if you will. And so we're seeing it's happening block by block. The world is being repriced in Bitcoin, and you just love to see it. And again, in Argentina, with Malay, for all his faults, for all the faults in Argentina, it's seemingly becoming a good place for Bitcoiners. Of course, they're angling everything towards, the dollarization of Argentina. There's been a lot of rumors that I'm personally not a big fan of, but I think it's still a little early to see whether Malay can accomplish something great in Argentina. Will he be able to follow what Bukele has done in El Salvador? We'll see. It does seem like he's made some early missteps, and only time will tell. So on that note, Bitcoin is maturing, and it's incredible to watch. And we're on the front lines, and we'll keep covering this. This is, I think, one of the most important things going on in Bitcoin is when energy gets completely tied to Bitcoin. Once energy is repriced in Bitcoin, this is when the game really starts to take hold, and especially if you're in America, if you understand anything about the dollar fiat system, you know that most energy is tied to the dollar in the petrodollar system. So, hey, we're seeing BRICS nations move away from the dollar. We're seeing countries move away from treasuries. And now we're starting to see that more energy producers are going to attach their energy production to Bitcoin. So things are heating up. I think 2024 is going to be not only an interesting year in regards to the Bitcoin price, but in regards to the Bitcoin ecosystem at large. And hey, man, we're on the front lines. Absolutely love it. It feels so good being a Bitcoiner. We're just out here winning constantly. And all the naysayers, all the fudsters out there, they can continue to say what they want, but the proof is in the pudding. Bitcoin is good, and you can't stop it. So, man, love to see it. Of course, I'm not alone here today. We got Chris Alemo off the bench today. He is, sorry, let me get your official title here. I wrote it down. Programming manager at Swan. Also loosely affiliated with us here at Simply Bitcoin. He was working at Bitcoin Mag. This guy's just everywhere. So Chris, and also low-key a Bitcoin think boy in his own right. So Chris, thanks to have you here. Oh, also might be one of the best producers in Bitcoin. Might be one of the best producers in the game. I don't know.
I got to stay humble, Opti. I'm not the best producer in the game. Not
the
anymore.
most humblest.
No,
well,
thanks for having me, Opti. What's up, Bitcoiners? How's it going?
Let's go. Let's go. All right, guys. Well, you guys know who's co-hosting with us, but we brought back a guest that you guys absolutely loved a few weeks ago. He's got a special surprise for us in the game as well. So on that note, I got Sat, aka Lightning Goats, with us again today, and he did bring a little secret project. It's not officially. We haven't figured out all the kinks yet. So we'll drop that in the culture. But Sat, how are you doing today? We will feed some goats, guys. They were calling for the goats ever since you came on. There's constant goat memes now in our chat. So Sat, thanks for coming back. How you doing this morning?
Well, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on, guys. I look forward to the show.
Let's go. Let's go. Well, hopefully we can overfeed the goats again today. I'm sure they got way too much food that day when we brought you on the show. So we got that again. We'll do the live stream of the goats, but we got a little surprise for you guys in the culture as well. I think you guys are going to like it. Again, I haven't figured out all the kinks yet. I was trying to do it before the show. So you guys will see it live, and I'll make sure it looks good for us moving forward. But on that note, no, you guys will get there. Let's get into the numbers, guys. We got a lot of, oh wait, actually, sorry. Not just the numbers. I got to plug our boys at the Bitcoin Well. Buy real Bitcoin, guys. This is bitcoinwell.com. They just officially released their product to the US. They're in all 50 states. And it's a Bitcoin only exchange, guys. Self-custody by default, no VC money, no withdrawal fees. They cover the withdrawal fees, and they really want your feedback. And that's the reason we absolutely love Bitcoin Well. They align with the Simply Bitcoin ethos of taking your Bitcoin into custody, but they want your feedback. Hit Adam in his DMs, tag them on the timelines, bug them all you want, use the platform, and tell them what you want to be done on the platform. They're shipping new features every 2 weeks, and we want to make this the best self-custody by default platform, period. And It's going to happen. We're doing it slowly but surely. So go to bitcoinwell.com/simplybitcoin, sign up today, and get on the mission to stacking Bitcoin. All right, guys, let's get into the show.
Bitcoin numbers.
Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Is your seed phrase really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of just writing them on paper. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage. You want to put your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Your words are actually stamped into this metal plate with this hammer and these letter stamps. And once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamped seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin with peace of mind for the long haul. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed.
All right, guys, scan the QR code. Do not leave your seed phrase on a piece of paper in your sock drawer. Stamp it into titanium. And again, guys, I'm laughing at the chat. You guys are already going hard. Absolutely love it. Okay, all right, we're over here on Clark Moody's dashboard. You guys already know. If you don't know Clark Moody's dashboard, go to bitcoin.clarkmoody.com/dashboard, and you can get all real-time time chain metrics of the Bitcoin time chain or blockchain if you're new. Anyways, my favorite number is the block height. TikTok next block. It's almost like Bitcoin is working exactly as designed. And we are currently at a block height of 842,576. And oof, look at the Bitcoin price at 62,320. Guys, it's so over. Pack it up. It was a good run. We're going to zero. It's over, guys. Man. We had a good run. You know, I'm just trolling, guys. Currently, the sats per dollar, aka what your dollar is worth in Bitcoin or sats, how much Bitcoin you can buy for a single dollar, is currently at 1,605 sats, or 160 bits for the bits maxis in the back. We haven't had the bits sats debate for a minute, so I got to pull that one out of the woodworks. Anyways, the total percentage of Bitcoin that will ever be issued is currently at 93.78%. I repeat. The total percentage of all 21 million Bitcoin that will ever be released is currently at 93.78%. The last, I forget what we're at. It's like the last 1.4 million will be released in the next 100 years. So, Bitcoin is becoming the scarcest money ever in real time. Anyways, the market cap of Bitcoin in dollar terms is at $1.23 trillion. The realized monetary inflation is at 1.69%. The Bitcoin versus gold market cap is at 7.8%. We're not even at 10% of the gold market cap. So I think we're going to make some huge leaps in that number this year. And the total public lightning capacity is currently at 4,618.78 BTC. And the hash rate the last 90 days is at 598.2 exahashes. And the pending fees currently, at least to the mempool that Clark Moody's connected to, is 8.01 BTC. So we're seeing the fees are starting to come down. We're seeing it start to at least get a little more normalized here. So once the fees come down, guys, make sure you're not sleeping out there. Open your Lightning channels, consolidate your UTXOs, get your good UTXO hygiene. All right, guys. So on the theme of today, since we're talking about Bitcoin mining in Argentina, I thought it'd be very fitting to bring up this video that we posted on our Twitter at Simply Bitcoin TV. And it's this guy in 2013 mining Bitcoin, mining 1 Bitcoin a day on his computer. And I really wanted to bring this today, and I'm going to show you the hash rate numbers afterwards so you guys can try to visualize just how powerful the Bitcoin network is. We talked about it this week. You know, Saylor did his clip at the Bitcoin for Corporations about Bitcoin being the biggest supercomputer in the world, and no nation state, no single corporation can stop what's going on the Bitcoin network. And I just kind of wanted to show the humble beginnings of Bitcoin mining. If you're new to this space, maybe you're not fully aware that you could have literally connected your computer, get a GPU mining rig going, and you could have made 1 Bitcoin a day. Back in the day, we all wish we could have just mined 1 Bitcoin a day off an $800 computer today. Obviously, no one knew where the Bitcoin price was going, but you just love to see the OGs out here that put in the time and understood this before us. But let's watch this video. It's actually pretty good. It's pretty short, and then we'll go over some of the hash rate numbers that we currently see today.
Eric Elliott. I'm an internet developer. I am a Bitcoin miner. Bitcoin is a decentralized cryptocurrency, basically a virtual form of money. Bitcoin is controlled by a software algorithm. In order to control the amount of Bitcoins that are released into the economy, the algorithm determines that there's only so many that are mined during a certain period of time. Currently, that is 25 Bitcoins are found about every 10 minutes or so. Those people that are mining contribute to the overall, I guess, computing power of the network. You're only going to get rewarded, in essence, whatever percentage of that power your computers are putting out. So those are the graphics cards right there. Those are what are doing all the work. Most miners are probably earning fractions of Bitcoins. Standard computer that you basically see any gamer having. I started mining in 2011, so I invested about $800 to build this computer. At the time when I put it online, I was probably mining, 1 Bitcoin a day, something like that. In essence, all you're doing is downloading software and running software that's running 24/7 that are accepting these mathematical problems, solving the mathematical problems, and sending the results back up to, to a server.
Well, first things first, it's very interesting how far or rather how far back the mainstream media has gone in regards to Bitcoin. This is on CNN Money. I'm pretty sure now if we talk about Bitcoin on CNN, they're going to be just absolutely not talking good about Bitcoin, not actually spreading good information. But with all that being said, this guy was using the GPUs that you use to play video games to mine Bitcoin. He was mining 1 Bitcoin a day in 2013. I don't know, Chris, maybe you could fact check us right now. What was 1 Bitcoin in 2013 while I go over some of the hash rate numbers here? But I really like this comment. Before I show you how far the hash rate has come since 2013, I like this comment by UTXO. He goes, the important part is not knowing exactly when Bitcoin is going to infinity, but understanding that it is in fact inevitably going to infinity at some point. And he said the next few years, but we'll say in the next few decades. Anyways, absolute Chad. Imagine being in 2013 and mining Bitcoin on your computer that you play video games with and getting 1 Bitcoin a day and then hodling that Bitcoin to this point. Man, we could all only wish that we could have done this. Of course, there's no point in looking backward. There's no point in beating yourself up about being late to Bitcoin. But you have the best time to stack Bitcoin now, today. Anyways, I wanted to show you how far the hash rate has come since 2013. And as I think it was Rave Elevator in the chat said, this was before ASICs were even made, which is what's applied application-specific integrated circuits, which literally basically means the TLDR. It's just a computer that all it does one specific thing, and that is mine Bitcoin. It just spits out big numbers and hopefully finds a needle in a haystack. Anyways, let's look at this hash rate chart here. I'm over at bitinfocharts.com. A great website, though, guys. Don't mind all the shitcoinery on the website, but there's a lot of good data here that some other websites don't have. I was going to pull up mempool.space, but it didn't go far. It didn't go back far enough. So I'm over here on BitInfoCharts. And again, I don't know exactly when this video was aired. So I'm going to give you kind of a range of what the hash rate was in 2013. So we got here in January, here we'll go January 1st, the Bitcoin hash rate was at 24.33 terahash. And by the end of the year, we were at roughly, we'll go 10 petahash. And Chris will do more of the analytics here, but of what terahash versus petahash is, I'm sure Chris knows this stuff because he's got that autistic gene in him where he can correct me and fact check me on stuff. But anyways, where is the hash rate today? And you can see the chart, like it was minimal here. Like you can't even see where it was up until 2017 or 2018. And then it started to run. And you can see that the last kind of numbers today we said it was roughly around 600 exahashes. The highest number we got so far, at least on this chart, is around, I think it was 727 exahashes, which just means the Bitcoin network has absolutely gone nuclear. It's the strongest supercomputer in the world. And let's see. Okay, Chris. So Chris in the chat says the 2013 price of one Bitcoin was $201. Obviously, we don't know the exact date.
I actually have the range. So from 2013, if you're buying in January 1, it was around $19 per Bitcoin. And then towards the September, October timeframe is when the bull market really began, or the peak of the bull market was just over $1,000. So somewhere between $20 and $1,000 was 2013, basically.
Incredible. So even at the time, the Bitcoin miners out there were investing more infrastructure to, to receive Bitcoin. What? You spend $800. It's going to take you, I don't know, a couple of months to recoup those investments. You're getting anywhere from $21 to $200 in Bitcoin a day. So still an investment in Bitcoin mining infrastructure. But at the time, you could mine Bitcoin off a computer. Now you have to buy an ASIC. You have to buy a specific machine, a specific extra strong computer to mine Bitcoin. And as we're going to see in the news, it's not just individuals, it's not just corporations. Now we're seeing that nation states are getting into the game. We saw Bhutan talk about mining Bitcoin. We saw, Paraguay right now is kind of in the midst of fighting Bitcoin mining. We've seen Ecuador. We know Venezuela was getting into the Bitcoin mining game. So the game theory of Bitcoin mining is taking on at new levels. And really the TLDR is just Bitcoin is maturing. Yeah, look, XX, a 50x in 1 year. Just love to see it. Love to see it. All right, Chris, what's your thoughts on all this?
I think it's crazy when you're looking at the hash rate charts. Opti, if you want to actually pull that up right now, the hash rate charts again from BitInfo charts.
I got you.
So January 1, like around the beginning of January of 2013, 21 terahashes. I mean, an S9 runs at about 14 to 15 terahashes. So at the time of the network, 1.5 S9s would be more computing power, and that would be required to basically 51% attack the network. Towards the tail end of the year, I saw like about 10 petahashes. So I think a petahash, if you're thinking of S19s, I know there's the S21s and there's the new machines from WhatsMiner, but if you think of an S19 is about 100 terahashes per second, a petahash is 1,000 terahashes, so that's 10 machines. So 10 of those would be about 100 S19. So you can see the growth of the network just from like 1.5 S19s in the beginning of the year to about the equivalent of 100 S19s. I know that the network and obviously the growth of the price. I know there's a quote that Max Kaiser always says that price always follows hash rate. And I know we've kind of seen in the years past, like normally the hash rate starts going up and then eventually, the bull market comes or the halving comes. And then 6 to 18 months after that, the price normally spikes up to it. We either hit a blow off top, or I know 2021 was kind of a weird year with China banning hash rate. So we kind of went down. And I know Nico always brings up that if China didn't ban hash rate, we probably would have seen higher prices in USD terms. But I think it's kind of just, it's the state of the network, and it's crazy how far we've come in, over a decade at this point.
Yeah. And I know I'm blanking on who it is, but someone in the chat always trolls us that says, and I'm forgetting what the next move after exahash is, but he's like, we're going to 1,000 exahashes. What's the next one, Chris?
A zettahash, I think.
It's zettahash. Yeah, we're going to 1 zettahash in 2024. We'll see if that happens. I think I did see Marshall Long this morning say, who's like an OG Bitcoin miner, saying that the hash rate has kind of we probably topped out for a little bit until the end of the year. So it's going to be very interesting to see how much hash rate can actually go on the network. Anyway, Sat, what's your thoughts on this?
It's kind of crazy. In 2013, winter of 2013 and 2014, that's when I got orange pilled. And in 2014, that's when I began mining with a small ASIC about like this big. You could buy them on eBay. They would just fit right into the back of your computer. And I mined through Slush Pool. And by today's standards, I got non-trivial amounts, right? I think the withdrawal limit from the pool at that time was like a tenth of a Bitcoin. So once you got up to a tenth of a Bitcoin, you could withdraw out. Wild stuff. I was thinking everybody who's just coming into Bitcoin today, you guys are all so lucky. The reason is that you don't have all these regrets about all the bad decisions that you made about Bitcoin in the past. Like I first heard about it in 2011, and I considered mining with a lab of 60 computers because I was an IT guy. But I never did. And so you end up with all these regrets. Every time you hear a story like this, it brings up all the regrets. So the new people today, welcome to the network, and may your regrets be really minimal.
Yeah, totally. I completely agree with that, Sat. Like, I think it's the best time to buy Bitcoin. Obviously, we all wish we were buying Bitcoin at like $1 or a penny or $100, $1,000. You know, when I got into Bitcoin at $10,000, like I thought I was late to Bitcoin, and I was still like, man, I wish I could have bought some at $1,000. But the time that it took from 2017 to now, not only have I made every mistake in Bitcoin, but I've wrecked myself. And now I had to do most of that stuff alone. Like we didn't have the Bitcoin only education platforms that we have now. We didn't have the Bitcoin only signal out there. You had to pretty much wreck yourself. You had to go through the trial and tribulations. You had to pay your fee of tuition to actually make it to this point. And now there's so much good education out there that you can avoid most of the headaches if you kind of just listen to what we tell you every single day. It's like, look, buy Bitcoin or work for Bitcoin or mine Bitcoin. Doesn't matter if you buy it on an exchange or if you buy it KYC free. What matters is you take Bitcoin into cold storage. Make sure you are taking that Bitcoin into a hardware wallet. Make sure you're securing your seed phrase on something more than paper, and then just keep stacking. That's the only thing you have to do. Avoid shitcoins. Just continue to stack in Bitcoin. And now we have this whole army of Bitcoiners out there that are all on the mission, that are all fervent Bitcoiners that will help you keep your head in the game so you understand exactly what you're doing here. And looking back, people are going to look at us and be like, man, I wish I was buying Bitcoin at 60K. Anyways, jump in, Sat.
Keep studying as well. It's an ongoing process. You never actually understand Bitcoin. You just kind of get revealed new truths about Bitcoin or the story of Bitcoin. It's really very amazing. I've been, since first exposure till now, what is this, like 12 years or something. And every day I learn something new about this thing that is Bitcoin that just really amazes me. And like Opti was saying, man, back in the day, you were a lone weirdo when you got into this stuff. And every mistake that you could make, you did make. I don't know one Bitcoiner out there, no matter how famous they are, who didn't make all these mistakes. I mean, take Michael Saylor. He used to fucking totally rag on Bitcoin back in the day, right? And now he's like Bitcoin Messiah. Yeah, so just keep studying. There's always more to learn. And thanks, Satoshi, for the echo chamber. I love the echo chamber.
Love it. Yeah, man. The echo chamber is strong. Sometimes you gotta break out of the echo chamber, but the echo chamber is strong. Absolutely love it. All right, guys, before we move on to today's news story, I do want to plug our boys Anders Pleb Party in Nashville. We are taking over a rustic old automobile warehouse for the Pleb Party in Nashville, July 25th. It's going to be 12 hours. I repeat, 12 hours of partying, open bar, all you can eat food. If you're going to Bitcoin Nashville and you get there the day before the conference, make sure you get yourself a ticket because everyone's going to be there. All your boys are going to be there. Everyone who's anyone's going to be there just having fun. You can see some confirmed guests is Lawrence Lepard, James Lavish, Preston Pish, Robert Breedlove, Natalie Brunell, Mark Moss, the whole Simply Bitcoin team. We got the BTC Prague team. And of course, Tatum Turnup and Pub Lord and Anders will be there, guys. And I can confirm that Andres knows how to throw a good party. So you definitely want to be there and hang out with everyone. This is the way. All right, guys, let's get into the news for today.
The Daily News.
I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Foundation Devices. It's self-custody done right. They built a premium grade hardware wallet called Passport right here in the US. It's fully open source and verifiable. It's the most intuitive Bitcoin wallet designed with a UX reminiscent of a simple feature phone. So you will know how to navigate it and use it the moment you pick it up. Get your Bitcoin off exchanges and into your own hands in just a few minutes. Experience the peace of mind that comes with taking ownership of your own keys. After a massive sellout during Bitcoin Miami 2023, the Passport is back in stock at foundationdevices.com. Bitcoin only, open source verifiable, completely air-gapped security model, gorgeous design craft, premium grade materials. If you're thinking about getting your Bitcoin off exchanges, this is the one for you. Check out the Passport link in the show notes below to learn more.
Guys, I keep forgetting to make Nico redo the ad. Don't think about taking your Bitcoin off exchanges. It's literally the most important step of buying Bitcoin is taking your Bitcoin off an exchange. And I absolutely love the Passport by Foundation connected with Envoy. It's super easy. You guys will love it too. If you haven't used it, it's literally grandma friendly. And it's actually it's Opti friendly. If it's Opti friendly, then you know it's a good hardware wallet. All right, guys. So let's get into the news story. As you can tell from the title, Argentina is doubling down on their Bitcoin mining. So we got this great article from our boy Javier Bastardo. He wrote an article for Forbes. And so I used that as a jump off point and I got to the actual press release here. And I'm over on genesisdigitalassets.com, aka GDA. And it goes, GDA partners with YPF Luz to launch a Bitcoin mining center in Argentina powered with repurposed flared gas. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's some really good insights into here. And I think we talk about this all the time, but it's never enough to just continue to spread the information on Bitcoin. Sometimes when it comes from certain sources, you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. It's not just YouTubers or random Bitcoin cult members that are trying to spread narratives about Bitcoin. When someone has a financial incentive to mine Bitcoin and talk about Bitcoin, not only helping the environment, but helping out their company at large, you should be listening. So again, let's get into this article a little bit. And I highlighted the parts that I want to touch on. So Genesis Digital Assets Limited, aka GDA, has announced the opening of a new data center in Argentina powered by YPF Luz, leading company in electric power generation. First things first, it's interesting that they're using the meme new data center instead of Bitcoin mining operation. I think that's just, an easier way to get the information out there. And we've seen this happen a lot, that if you start to talk about data centers, it doesn't have that icky, bad framing of Bitcoin mining. Because what are they going to do? Shut down Amazon's data centers or Google's data centers? It's okay, they're we need data centers. This is great. Anyways, the company's first facility in South America is located in Rincón de las Sauces in the I don't know how to say that, the Neuquén province, and has a total capacity of 7 megawatts and 1 megawatts of backup. The Baja de Toro thermal power plant, composed of YPF, Equinor, and YPF Luz, will power 1,200 Bitcoin mining machines and efficiently monetize stranded gas. I repeat, officially monetize stranded gas, which would otherwise be flared into the atmosphere. Literally, it would just go into the environment. And this is why we love bringing examples like this, is because Greenpeace out there, or even your favorite politician or bureaucrat out there, your favorite talking head out there would say Bitcoin mining is ruining the environment, when it's literally reducing carbon emissions. But let's not play the ESG games here. Let's just get to the facts. With an abundance of energy, a favorable political climate, and a strong crypto ethos, Argentina is becoming increasingly important for Bitcoin mining and the broader industry. For this data center, GDA will use the electricity generated from stranded gas provided by YPF Luz, an electric power generation company that has been leading the energy transition since 2013. 2013. So, and then this next article kind of goes into a little bit of data. It is a little kind of ESG frame, guys. So, forgive them, but they're playing the corporate game. You can't really blame them. So methane gas adversely impacts the environment as it is responsible for approximately a third of the warming the world is experiences. As stated in an MIT working paper, Bitcoin mining could potentially reduce between 25% and 63% of carbon dioxide equivalent CO2 emissions by repurposing methane gas. And then this is kind of, I think, the chunk and the meat of this press release is some of these quotes here. So we have Abdulmalik Medov, sorry, bro, executive president of GDA, go, we believe that Argentina is an important country for Bitcoin mining, given its abundance of energy resources and business-friendly environment. The opening of our first data center in South America is an important step in our geographic diversification efforts, and this will be yet another opportunity to show the world that Bitcoin mining can have a positive effect on the environment and can be fully integrated in local communities. With GDA utilizing the stranded gas, YPF and Equinor can offset its related costs and contribute to positive environmental changes, which ultimately could result in lower oil prices in the region, and GDA in turn will access energy sources that are both competitively priced and reduce its global carbon emissions. In 2022, we were the first Argentine company to generate electrical energy for cryptocurrency mining from flare gas, an innovative solution in line with YPF's energy transition needs, said Martin Mondarano, CEO of YPF Luz. This project with GDA allows us to bring YPF and Equinor, two companies committed to reducing the carbon footprint of their exploration activities, an adaptable and sustainable flare gas use solution. And there is a good couple quotes on the Forbes article by Javier, so I do want to mention those. We got here executive president again. I don't want to butcher your name again, but Abdulmalik. And it goes, although we've been considering expanding to Argentina for years, the political and pro-innovation climate the country has fostered for crypto and Bitcoin specifically has never been stronger than today. There's also a large percentage of the population in Argentina that already uses cryptocurrencies and stablecoins to hedge against high inflation. The bottom line is that crypto is a solution to these problems, and we're seeing that fact recognized by countries throughout Central and South America. And then this great point by Javier goes, the new facility showcases two important elements of Bitcoin mining's potential. On the one hand, it helps mitigate the direct impact of stranded gas on the environment. However, other mitigation techniques don't include the second element, using these wasted resources to make some valuable return, in this case through BTC, which I absolutely love because, guys, we're capitalists here and nothing gets done if there's no incentive for money. So, hey, if we get to help the environment and also make money, it seems like a win-win on all fronts. But again, those fudsters and Greenpeaces of the world will never say this. They're just saying like, oh, it's using up too much energy and it's going to use up all the energy of the world and it's stealing energy from needy people in Argentina, when in reality, it's using energy that wouldn't be used at all. It would literally go up into the environment and harm the ecosystem at large. But hey, no one cares about the facts. Anyways, I do want to touch on a few points here. So of course, you guys can troll me about going to Wikipedia, but hey, it's a good sentence here. And then this is just to double down on the idea that this isn't just a private corporation that is looking to make some profits. They are as you can see, vertically integrated, majority state-owned Argentine energy company engaged in oil and gas exploration and production and the transportation, refining, and marketing of gas and petroleum products. And our Twitter team doubled down and dug into the facts here, and it's Argentina's largest state-owned electricity producer that has now partnered with Genesis Digital Assets to mine Bitcoin with flared gas. You absolutely love it. And so I went to their website and looked at, how much energy are they producing and how much electricity are they producing? And you can see here, I highlighted. So I don't know when this was last updated, but you can see from the website that YPF Luz themselves generate 9% of Argentina's electrical energy. So this isn't just a small off the grid energy producer that is now thinking about making sure that their profits are good, that they're minimizing their carbon emissions. This is one of the largest state-owned energy companies in Argentina that is doubling down on mining Bitcoin. Obviously, they're looking at it in the idea of, hey, we got to reduce carbon emissions, and this is good for our company, this is good for the environment, but also, hey, the double profit or the double win of profiting off their flared gas that literally would go off into the environment. It'd be wasted money. And now they get to stack Bitcoin. So it's going to be interesting to see what their Bitcoin strategy is moving forward and who else follows suit, whether we see other countries in Latin America follow suit and use, excess energy, stranded energy, maybe undiscovered energy, and start to use Bitcoin miners or ASICs to mine Bitcoin. The game theory is playing out, and anyone with cheap energy, anyone with stranded energy, anyone with undiscovered energy, you're going to see that Bitcoin miners are going to go there because they're incentivized to find the cheapest energy so that they can increase their profits in Bitcoin. And I also kind of wanted to connect this with something I saw on Twitter. Obviously, I don't think this has anything to correlate with this news here that we saw coming out of Argentina or YPF Luz and GDA, but I find it very interesting that this week also, May 6th, I think this is Monday, we have Elon Musk meeting with Javier Milei, and he goes, I recommend investing in Argentina. Though this is kind of like a trope, it's kind of a vague tweet here, investing in Argentina. Like, what's that even really mean? I think people are seeing the writing on the wall that, hey, it looks like Argentina might be doing some things that will potentially lead their country into the directions. We'll see what's happening. Again, I recently have been a little skeptical of what Milei is doing. We have seen him do a few missteps, but I think this might be a way of correcting those missteps and maybe following suit what El Salvador. We'll see what's going on moving forward. We know that Argentina is in conversation with the IMF. We know they're not necessarily just being pro-Bitcoin like Bukele is, and they're kind of leaning more towards dollarizing Argentina. And also this morning, I saw another tweet, or rather it was yesterday, that Argentina print a $10,000 peso note. So I don't know, man, a lot of crazy stuff going on in Argentina. Obviously, having out there is starting to feel the pain of inflation, and we're seeing that they are doing some things to try to combat that and help their citizens. But I think moving forward, like I keep saying, once energy production is tied to Bitcoin, that's when the game really goes into overdrive and Bitcoin solidifies itself as the money of the world. When Petrosat world, I'm waiting for the Petrosat. I don't think we're there yet. Everyone knows that the petrodollar rules the world, and this is where we are right now. So very interesting stuff coming out of Argentina. But on that note, let's go into Chris, because Chris will give us a little more sober, analytical takes on everything. So, Chris, what's your thoughts on this?
I think it's good. Obviously, we talk about using energy is good. As you said in the beginning of the episode, like using more energy helps humans, helps human flourishing, helps civilizations and expand and grow. I hate when people bastardize the use of energy use. It's never a good thing. As for them using methane instead of CO2, obviously that's good. Methane emits anywhere, the numbers are kind of fuzzy, but anywhere from 40% or 40 times to 70 times more harmful to the environment than CO2. Actually, CO2 is, contrary to popular belief, relatively good for the environment. Obviously, plants use CO2 to as part of their photosynthesis process. They expel O2, oxygen, for us to breathe in. We dispel CO2, and there's kind of a vicious cycle. So methane is more harmful to the environment 40 to 70 times, depending on the research. I think, and then I'll kind of comment on the Elon of it all. It's kind of funny that he's saying, like, invest in Argentina. I'm thinking, like, Opti, in you and I's lifetime, Argentina has had hyperinflation, I think 5 times in their histories, which is like over the last 30 years or so. So imagine like Elon's like, yo, invest in Argentina, buy their government bonds, only for you to get dunked on. Obviously, that is a joke, not financial advice. Don't buy Argentinian debt, buy sats instead, stack sats, stay humble. So I think overall it's a good thing. I think they're trying to compete in the freest and openest market in the world. Bitcoin mining it's a difficult game. It is literally like pure pure competition. It's probably the purest form of competition aside from energy markets themselves. So obviously they have a large energy provider trying to provide energy for not just their country, but trying to make them more robust, more resilient, and compete on the free and open market that is Bitcoin. So I'll just leave it at that if there's anything else.
Yeah, I mean, I do want to add, I did talk with my boy Alex over at KABOOMRACKS, and to your point of Bitcoin mining being probably one of the most competitive industries in the world, we're seeing that there's going to be a lot of pain in the Bitcoin mining markets coming up, and we're seeing the initial pain hitting those miners, the companies, the solo miners. It's going to get very interesting, and I think you hit the nail on the head, Chris. But jump in again.
Yeah, so I know Stephen Barber, obviously the owner and founder of Upstream Data, was kind of saying he's a longtime Bitcoin miner. He basically posted a chart on Twitter, I think either this morning or yesterday, basically saying that there's going to be a lot of pain in the Bitcoin industry. Obviously, we had right after the halving, a lot of the runes, ordinals, inscriptions, all of that, like fees were skyrocketing up. So it actually made sense, even if you had old machines, to plug them in right after the halving, because a lot of the fees, I mean, the block of the halving, I think there was 37 Bitcoin in rewards compared to the 3.125 subsidy that was, just cut in half from 6.25. So right after that, the fees were skyrocketing. It was a good time to mine, even if you had old machines, even just for a week or two. But now that things have settled down and they're not going as crazy, he's saying there's going to be a lot of pain in the industry in terms of people having to plug or unplug old machines. I mean, as of right now, we have about 19 hours to our difficulty readjustment, but we're going to be going down in difficulty about 6%. So that's, a pretty substantial drop in hash rate. That's hash rate coming off the network, obviously not being competitive and not being able to basically cover their costs, or for whatever reason, they're unplugging their machines because it's less profitable. So yeah, I do think there's going to be a lot of pain. I do think that we're going to equalize. Some Bitcoin miners are probably going to have to sell Bitcoin to cover their mining costs. And then, if Bitcoin does what it historically does, 6 to 18 months from now, we're going to see a new bull market. The USD denominated price in Bitcoin will skyrocket up again. And obviously people will plug in old machines or older machines to try and capture as the fiat price goes up and their hash price is more economically feasible. And then the cycle begins again. A new bull market is among us.
But I think for those out there watching, what Chris just said, what is the actionable advice for you guys out there? First off, if the price goes down a little bit because we're seeing some minor selling pressure, don't get freaked out. Don't get shooken out of your position. Just keep stacking. Maybe right now is the time to build up your dry powder so that when you do see a good dip, you're able to take good opportunity. You're able to, stack as many sats as possible. But we're seeing, the classic trope of sell in May and go away until later. We're kind of seeing that play out right now. So we'll see what happens this summer. We might be crabbing a little bit during the summertime, but that's just another opportunity for you guys to stack as many sats as possible. So none of this has any real effect, I think, detrimental effect to the Bitcoin network at large. This is just Bitcoin mining economics playing out in real time. The Bitcoin mining ecosystem is very healthy, and it's very efficient at weeding out inefficient miners, and this is why Bitcoin mining is so competitive. Anyways, let's bring in Sat. Sat, what's your thoughts on this news coming out of Argentina?
Bitcoin is unstoppable. The incentives are such that everybody ends up joining. It's kind of amazing, I think it's a good thing that these efficiencies are being gained. I'm a big fan of efficiency. And so it's awesome to see people doing things like using flare gas or monetizing flare gas and all the benefits that arise from that. I've heard of pig farmers in Mexico that capture methane at their hog farms, use that to run generators and use that to mine Bitcoin. It's another great efficiency gain. But the long and short of the idea is that eventually all people, all organizations of all types, whether they're governmental or corporate or what have you, all will join the Bitcoin network. All things will be structured around Bitcoin because it is the unmovable truth. So welcome aboard, Argentina.
Let's go. Love it, Sat. Love it. Actually, just kind of, riffing a little bit off what you said about just the crazy creative ways that we see Bitcoin miners getting energy. I've seen them literally turning manure into energy so that they can mine Bitcoin. I've seen them burn tires that they can turn into energy and mine Bitcoin. And this morning I think it was coming out of Bitcoin News, Twitter, someone had plugged in an ASIC into the back of a Cybertruck and was using the electricity from the Cybertruck to mine. I think it was like a S19 or something like that. I don't remember what the ASIC was, but yeah, Bitcoin miners are very creative in finding cheap energy or renewable energy or stranded energy. And so, again, we do our best to try to combat the BS narratives. And sometimes you got to just put the facts out there. And of course, no one really cares about the facts on mainstream media. But for you guys watching, it's very important for you to remember that Bitcoin mining doesn't waste energy. The Bitcoin network doesn't waste energy. It's actually, in all reality, the most efficient use of energy. I can't think of a better use of energy than securing the most debasement-proof, censorship-resistant money in the world. This is why we do what we do, is so that no one can steal from us through inflation and no one can easily print more money. This is the key here. Anyways, let's get into the culture. But before I do that, I do want to plug our boys over at the Orange Pill app. Guys, find local Bitcoiners near you, find event and merchants near you. Jump on the Orange Pill app today. Go to orangepillapp.com. This is not a Tinder for Bitcoiners. This is more of a networking app, guys. It's the best way to meet Bitcoiners. If you're traveling and you're wondering if there's Bitcoiners in the area, jump on the app, see who's around you. If you're the lone psycho Bitcoiner in your community, jump on the app. Maybe there's more Bitcoiners around you that you didn't know. Of course, you guys can always be concerned about your OPSEC, but for some of us that are a little more upfront about our love of Bitcoin, this is the best place to meet Bitcoiners, to interact with Bitcoiners. I actually found my local meetup through this app, and now I think it's tomorrow. I'll be there tomorrow. And we do have a Simply Bitcoin group chat in there. I'm really not the most active in there, but I try to be active. I try to respond to everyone that DMs me. Really appreciate all the love. So go to Orange Pill app or scan the QR code right there and get on the Orange Pill app, and we will see you on the other side. All right, guys, let's get into the culture.
The Daily Culture.
KABOOMRACKS. All right, we've been talking about mining all day. And go to KABOOMRACKS.com. It's the best place to buy, sell, and host your Bitcoin ASICs. They got a white glove service. Get in touch with my boy Alex. He will answer all your questions. And right now, they really want to talk about their hosting right now. So they have a new offer, a special offer on their Bitmain S19K Pros 20 hosting plans. Let me pull this up for you guys. And you guys can literally, right when you get your payment to go through, it's on board. They're already connected. If you've been thinking about getting into mining, if you want to get some KYC free sats, if you want to, chip in on adding to the hash rate, if you think this is a good opportunity right now, if you think that these Bitcoin mining companies are going to get wrecked and maybe you can fill in a little bit, go over to KABOOMRACKS and get yourself an S19K Pro 120 terahash hosting. It's already online. There will be no downtime. So if you've been thinking about it, if you don't have the facilities, you don't have the electricity facility set up, go to KABOOMRACKS and get yourself a hosting rig today. Okay, so first and foremost, let's start with the goats, because I know you guys like the goats, and then we will talk about the next thing that Sat has for us. So here, let me play this live. You guys can see this, or it is live. They're just not moving. Okay, it's live, guys. All right, so Sat, for those people that don't know what they're looking at, what are we looking at right here? What is going on here?
You're looking at the lightning goats. The guy that you see sitting out by the tires is Dexter. to the left of him in the shed is Rowan. They're the first two of the Lightning Goats, or the Lightning Goat founders. Rowan's the CEO. Dexter's just kind of like the muscle. He's the thug of the group, he's actually very
there. Yes, there we go. All right. Oh, it's here we go.
I just sent some sats. Let's see him get some action here.
All right. We'll do some more. So you can see we're feeding the sats live. What's the minimum on here? So maybe I'll just do this. What we got here?
The minimum is whatever $1 worth of sats is, or actually 120.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do this. We'll send $1.
So I actually started this whole project as part of an orange pilling idea. I mean, it was one of the ideas that I had with it, but a founding idea of the whole thing was to create a stream on YouTube that exposes people who don't know about Bitcoin to Bitcoin in a very friendly way, to do something that grandmas would come across and all that kind of stuff. Of course, the Lightning Goats is very successful among Bitcoiners, but there's also a bunch of non-Bitcoin followers on YouTube, various nature streaming aggregators and all that kind of stuff. So every day when people feed the goats, they're also doing a little bit to propagandize people and expose them to Bitcoin and the Lightning Network.
Let's go. Oh man. Oh, this is too funny. It's too funny. Okay, sorry. Someone's saying page link feed goats with sats. Sat, do you have a website? Or guys, just go to Lightning Goats on YouTube and you can see the live stream. But do you have a website that people can go to and see this project and maybe orange pill their friends with?
Yeah, there's lightninggoats.com. So it's lightning-goats.com without the www. It may or may not work for you. I haven't actually spent a bunch of time on the web page. The web page is just an embed of the video that you can see on YouTube. Eventually, what I'd like to do is I'd like to utilize Restreamer to do a Zap stream at the same time. But right now, I can't really justify the $16 a month. I live on an orange standard. I have everything in Bitcoin. So if I spend dollars, it means that I sell Bitcoin, and I don't want to sell my Bitcoin. So yeah.
Look at the terrorists profiting from Bitcoin. The goats are terrorists.
Yeah, this kind of flies in the face of the whole idea that Bitcoin is used by terrorists and stuff. I mean, what could be more wholesome than a goat feeder? I mean, come on, guys.
100%. Sat, we got a question here from Loco. He goes, did you open source your project?
Yeah, if you search for Lightning Goats on GitHub or SANTYR, that's my GitHub username. A lot of the code is there. It's made from three things. It's made using a Lightning node, an LN bits install, and an OpenHab install, all connected by a WireGuard connection. So that way I can take the sats from out on the internet and make them trigger the feeder.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the LN Bits project by Ben Ark, so that's really cool that you integrated all of those pieces. Nice, Oppie.
Let's go. I don't know why it's so satisfying. It's so satisfying.
It's really cool to see, something abstract as a Bitcoin transaction. You send something over your phone, you kind of get this feedback in cyberspace.
Yeah.
But you see something happen in the real world. We're also working on L402 invoicing in conjunction with camera switching. And what it's going to allow people to do is there'll be a second QR code up in the upper left-hand corner there. You'll scan that with your phone. You'll be presented with an invoice. When you pay the invoice, it'll allow you to switch cameras in the yard, so you could get different views on things.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It's a good set off camera.
That'd be awesome. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, They asked if you open sourced it. What else are you working on? Let me pull this up, guys. It's not the completed final project because I couldn't get it to fully work on the stream, but I did get, or rather, Sat did create the Opti taco feeder. So if you scan the QR code, we can get some sats here, and I did put one on here, but the bottom one doesn't work as well as the top one. Scan the top one, or actually just scan it. Scan the code and you can see some funny stuff, and there is a little Easter egg here, and I'll do the Easter egg one. So if you scan this, guys, we'll get some sats. You guys have been asking for LN QR code that you can send us some sats on. For some reason, I can't fully get it to work how we'd like to on Restream, but I did figure out a way to get it on here. We'll see if we keep it. It's not fully done yet. I need to work out some of the kinks with SAT. But for now, there is an Opti taco feeder, and it's something Nico just memed. So look, I'll send sats to myself, and you guys can see some of this stuff. Let's go. Okay. Do you guys see that? You guys catch that on the stream? A little taco pops up. Okay. Now look at this one. Look at this one. Shouts out to Sat for the Easter eggs in this. You guys are going to love this one. Oh man, for the audio listeners out there, if you send this whatever 100 sats, a little taco pops up when you send the QR code. Actually, any sats. You send any sats to the QR code, a little taco pops up. But if you send 666 sats, Christine Lagarde pops up with flames around her. So absolutely incredible. So Sat, where can people find this product or this on GitHub? What's going on here? What's the back end like on this?
This is also a simple LN bits project. What it does is you take an LN URL, make it into a QR code, of course, and you have a web page that runs a WebSocket listener. The WebSocket listener listens for payments, and as they come in, interacts with various other code that will display a taco or Christy Lagarde or other things. They can be programmed however you'd like. We can add a webhook to it. What I'm envisioning in the future is a taco rotisserie that sits right next to your desk. When a payment comes in for 1,000 sats or more, the rotisserie will rotate and give you a taco. It'll
like dispense cilantro and onions and beef into a tortilla. Oh man, that'd be great.
Street taco,
Amazing. I don't know if I condone this because I know they're going to try to get me fat, and I'm trying to avoid getting fat, but I do love tacos. I am a huge fan of tacos, so I do kind of endorse this message. Okay, Sat, what's the last thing you want to leave with the audience before we wrap today's show up?
Same thing as last time, broaden your time horizons, think long term, especially if you're new to Bitcoin. Don't look at day-to-day or month-to-month price action or anything like that. Look 5 years into the future always, and you'll reach a state of calmness. And the other thing is just study. Keep learning more about this.
Totally agree. As me and my friends usually say, study Bitcoin enough until you reach Bitcoin Zen and the price movements don't affect you and nothing affects you because you realize, hey, man, Bitcoin is the best money in the world. Why would I freak out about it being priced in fiat? But it does take some time. But I do believe that now is the best time. It's the most de-risked time to be in Bitcoin. And man, like little projects like what you're doing, Sat, it's amazing. And I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you said, when you see projects like Lightning Goats, and then you compare that with what like Elizabeth Warren's saying about Bitcoin or any of the powers that be say about Bitcoin, and you're just like, guys, it's just digital money. It's internet money. And there is something satisfying about scanning the live feed in real time and seeing the food get delivered to the goats. And it, like, simple things like these, like this project, really kind of open people's minds to the power of what Bitcoin can be. And in time, we'll be seeing, Chris, what did you call it before the show? It wasn't Opti's taco feeder. It was Opti's e-girl QR code or something.
Opties, biddies, biddies.
Opties.
It may seem kind of funny, but things like this are how we win. We win by everybody adopting and disregarding what people like Elizabeth Warren have to say about things. Elizabeth Warren is a dinosaur, man, and she's circling the drain. Just in a few years, she's going down, man. The whole system is changing rapidly. We have artificial intelligence, we have the looming singularity, we have hyper Bitcoinization, we have all the things that used to make me so excited 20 years ago. They're all coming into being. It's awesome, man. Keep optimistic about everything. When you see them attacking, as you guys say, it just means you're over the target. The reason that all of this weirdness is happening with the government and all this kind of stuff is because they realize that their time is almost done. They're in a panic. They don't know what to do. The dollar is dying. Just keep stacking.
Let's go. Couldn't agree more, Sat. Couldn't agree more. All right. Well, Sat, for everyone out there and the audio listeners, where do you want to lead people? Where can they find you? I know you're not on Twitter, so do you know you're at Nostr Xpub?
If you'd like me to read it for you, I got it.
Do you have a NIP5 identifier?
You can go on to Nostr. I don't do any of the other social medias. When I dropped out of the workforce, I deleted my LinkedIn. A couple years went by and I was like, screw Facebook. I don't want to be manipulated by Mark Zuckerberg and his Borg army, all that kind of stuff. I tried out Twitter and it was just too difficult to get engagement with the people that I wanted to engage with there, right? Think about it, guys. You two probably get, I don't know how many DMs a day on Twitter. It's hard to filter out and find the people. So if you're a new guy on Twitter, you just can't talk to any Bitcoin OGs. If you go to Nostr, however, you can talk with Bitcoin OGs. I mean, frickin' Edward Snowden follows the goats, literally, guys. So yeah, you can find me on Nostr. You can also email me at sat@reacher, REACHER.me. It'll cost you 10 cents to send me an email, but it's a good way to filter out all the weirdos or the bots. So if you really need to contact me, if you want me to consult on things, I can consult for you. I work for the Bitcoin network. I don't work for Sats. Everything I do is for the network itself, so I don't charge anything. I'm happy to talk with you.
Love it, Sat. Well, really appreciate you coming back on. Really appreciate the Opti Taco feeder. Hopefully I can figure out the kinks so that we can get the thing to pop up on the restream live stream. But for now, maybe I'll just keep it as a QR code for here and you guys can see it on the bottom right now. But Sat, thanks for coming on, bro. Let me pull you to the side for a moment, hang out for a second. Chris, the one and only Chris Alamo, thanks for coming in. Thanks for co-hosting. But I'm going to give you the same question I give usually our guests. Technically, you're a guest today. What's the last two sats you want to leave with the audience?
Oh, man. I mean, there's so many. Stay humble, stack sats. I think we're in the then they fight you stage. Obviously, we've seen a lot of stuff with Phoenix and Wasabi pulling out of the U.S. Obviously, the Samurai developers, Keon and William Hill getting arrested. Keon actually was already arraigned and pled not guilty, so he's going to fight the good fight. It definitely, I wouldn't say it's the coward wade's out because I can't imagine him sitting looking at 30 to 40 years in life in prison, if he doesn't win this. But I'm sure that there was a plea deal on the books to say, hey, just admit to these crimes. We'll give you 7 to 8 years in prison or less. And with him saying, pleading not guilty and fighting this case, not only are we going to get case law out of it, there's obviously room for people to interpret what the law is and what the DOJ is trying to push. Keep fighting the good fight. And I think I'll leave you off on, stay humble, stack sats.
Love it, Chris. Well, really appreciate it, guys. And of course, go check out what Chris is working on. He is programming manager at Swan. Low key, maybe we'll say it today and Jacob could yell at me. Best producer in the game besides me. But hey, I'm the most humble, so I'll pass the baton over to Chris. Anyways, guys, we had another show. Nico couldn't make it today. I should have probably said this in the beginning. He's doing a very special appearance. You guys will probably hear about it soon. I am pretty sure we do have an IRL tonight, so come back to YouTube at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to have an IRL. Nico will be here later today. And of course, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. The mission is spreading Bitcoin signal to everyone. Everyone must know that there is a better solution. That the mining FUD is just that. It's FUD. It's fake news. Usually it's completely misinformed and probably they're lying to you. So Bitcoin is helping planet Earth. It's helping individuals. Bitcoin is overtaking the world and the world is getting repriced in Bitcoin. So we'll see you tomorrow. On that note, guys, peace out. We love you. This has been your boy Opti. I'll see you on the front lines.
It was brought to you by BitcoinWell.com, on a mission to enable independence.